What up, everyone? Welcome back to Knicks in 4, where we talk everything Knicks. I'm your host, Ayers. If you're new to the channel and you're enjoying what you're watching, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's get into it. So, quick video today. Just wanted to share my thoughts on the whole Derrick Rose situation and discuss the question of whether or not we should keep him, trade him, or consider buying him out. Now, let's take a look at an article from postingandtoasting.com speculating on all the rumors. Derrick Rose isn't asking Knicks for a buyout, but one is still possible. Forever thankful for Rose, we just want to see him happy. So let's react to it. Despite rumors of potential deals, veteran guard Derrick Rose was not dealt during the trade deadline and remains a Knick. That being said, that doesn't necessarily mean that the former MVP will stay here. Sources close to the situation revealed that, while Rose hasn't asked the team for one, a buyout is still possible. That being said, New York may ultimately want to keep Rose and use him as a cap filler or matcher in a potential offseason deal, as previously reported. Now, Derrick Rose hasn't played on the floor since somewhere in the middle of December. And at this point, it's pretty likely that we will never see Derrick Rose play again, although I have my theories on why we're keeping him on the bench. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But in terms of the Knicks wanted to keep Rose as a potential cap filler or matcher, I think this is pretty much the ideal scenario, considering that Derrick Rose's contract is a very friendly team contract. Now, speaking of his contract, let's take a look very quickly at the details of his contract. Now, Derrick Rose is owed $14 million this season. However, he is on the books for another $15 million around that next season. But the thing is, it's a team option. So this is very friendly. Now, if we're trying to, put together some kind of blockbuster move for some potential elite player that we don't know will be available when the time comes, then Derrick Rose is an ideal candidate to throw in that package. You have $15 million coming off the books. So if a team is interested in having that cap come off their books, that's a lot of good money to come off. And also, if we're talking about a contending team looking to make a significant push to propel them into the championships or win it all ultimately, then Derrick Rose I would consider to be a key piece. You're talking about teams that may be interested in a veteran backup point guard, and Derrick Rose seems to be the perfect candidate for that role. Now, let's continue back to the article. When asked as if he was content with his current situation, Rose cheerfully answered, "Yeah, I mean, why? I'm looking mad on the bench or something? If I was mad or something, I wouldn't be able to hide it. So I would just say I'm the same." Rose hasn't played a single minute since December 31st, but has been incredibly professional about being taken out of the lineup. Unlike some of the other veterans around the league, Rose, who was the youngest MVP in league history, has willingly taken on the task of being a mentor for a roster filled with youth. Now, for a few reasons, there's this whole notion as if players would be mad if they're, not getting significant minutes. Obviously, I understand if you are in the prime of your career and you're being benched, then that's something different. But to, come up with the whole idea that Derrick Rose is mad, clearly, I believe Derrick Rose he's right in saying that if he was mad, you would be able to tell on the expression of his face. However, Derrick Rose is getting paid $14 million per year currently. So this whole idea that he's upset while getting paid $14 million is ridiculous. Trust me, Derrick Rose is not upset. Now, at the same time, I think he would like to be out there contributing to some level, to some extent, but he's comfortable. And besides, going back to the whole mentor component of this whole situation, Derrick Rose has taken on the mentor role. Now, when he was brought here a couple of years ago, I mentioned in previous videos that he was an incremental part of Quickly's development, of Obi's development. And while he's not on the floor, giving guys tips on the floor, you can see him, during the games, if the camera goes on to Derrick Rose, you see the bench, he's talking to guys, he's giving them advice. And he continues to be that inspiration, that mentor, that veteran that young guys coming into the league desperately need. And, we've seen Quickly develop into a really good guard. Now he's doing the same with Miles McBride. And he continues to be an extension of the coach, not on the floor, but on the bench this time. And, I think he's content, as the article mentions, of his role. Tom Thibodeau, who has coached Rose on 3 different teams, spoke very highly of him, stating, "I always want what's best for him, and I know he's made a lot of sacrifices for the team." He went on to add that, "I think it's great for us to have him, and not just with our point guards. He's been a great mentor and a great teammate." So yeah, totally. Not just with the guards, but, as a veteran leadership, a veteran presence to all the guys on the team, all the roster. Rose, if bought out, would join what would likely be a very point guard heavy and crowded buyout market, which could potentially include Russell Westbrook, Reggie Jackson, John Wall, and Patrick Beverley. All this competition could decrease the likelihood that Rose finds a team this season. Whatever happens with Rose, though, his time in New York seems to be coming to an end, unfortunately, and we can only hope that he finds a team either this season or next and gets back on the court. Now, if you were to ask me the question of, can Derrick Rose still play? Sure. But I think we understand very well that we're no longer going to get the MVP Rose. We knew that a few years ago. And the Rose a few years ago, we're not even going to get at this point because of his injury-prone history, and he's seeming to have regressed. However, I don't think he's completely done. I still think he has a little bit left in the tank, and he could give a benefit to a team seeking, again, a veteran, established backup point guard. Now, currently, as the Knicks are currently constructed, I don't think that necessarily works out because we seem to have a very good nucleus, a mix of players, and Derrick Rose, at least in playing on the floor, doesn't really add any other layer. But in terms of what we could get out of him, I can see a scenario where we are saving Derrick Rose for the playoffs. Now, you know how the playoffs goes. It comes down to experience, leadership, and I would rather not play Derrick Rose now if we're talking about inserting him into the game in a situation where, guys are feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Derrick Rose has obviously been in that situation before, and we can get a few minutes here and there, plug him in out there to throw off the team, throw off the defense. And obviously, Derrick Rose, he doesn't need, games to just get back up to speed. You can throw Derrick Rose out there, he'll impact the game immediately. Now, I put out a post a few days ago to the subscribers. Thank you, everyone, for subscribing. As always, I appreciate the love. I put out a poll out there recently asking the question, asking you guys, what do you think? What should we do with Derrick Rose? And, I created the poll. Should we trade him? Should we keep him? Or should we buy him out? Now, again, small sample size, just 42 people commented and posted their thoughts on this matter. But as we can see, we have 52% of people that would keep him, 17% that would trade him, and 31% that would consider buying him out. So obviously, we can see that most people, according to the sample size that we have in front of us, would rather keep him. And I have to agree. Now, let me break down each part of this question to tell you what are the benefits, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages of each. So keeping him, obviously, I mentioned that I think he would be a major benefit for us if we kept him. Not play him now, but save him for the playoffs, because I have a feeling that there's going to be some moment where we actually will need Derrick Rose for a spell or two. So keeping him is the best option in my books. And if we decide to bring him back next season, again, it's a team option. So at the end of the season, whether he plays in the playoffs or he doesn't, we can ultimately decide to let him go. Or we can decide to bring him back and keep him in the same role as a mentor role. If that doesn't work out for him, then maybe the idea of trading him comes into play. Now, obviously, Derrick Rose has good ties with the Knicks organization, obviously Tom Thibodeau. So I wouldn't imagine the Knicks would trade him anywhere that he doesn't desire to go. Wherever we would entertain trading him, it would be somewhere where we say, hey, Rose, what do you think about this idea of going to this team? What do you think about going to that team? So trading him could be an option if we bring him back. Now, buying him out, I think at this point, the buyout market is pretty much set. Players that were, talked about being bought out have already been bought out. And I just don't see how a buyout could actually benefit the Knicks. I think he's better off staying with the team now and potentially helping us, whether it's in the playoffs this season or later on down the line, whether that be in a trade or, benefiting the team some way, somehow next season. But I think keeping him is the best course to go through with. But anyway, guys, again, that's going to be a quick video. Just wanted to know your thoughts on this whole situation. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. What should we do with Derrick Rose? Should we keep him? Should we trade him? Should we buy him out? I'm on the fence, but I think if I had to make a decision right now, I would be on the side of keeping him. But that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I appreciate the love. Catch you on the rebound. Peace.